Hey everybody, I was out for a ride in the Jeep, as you can see, and I saw these park benches. I figured I would stop and answer a quick question for you. And this question comes to us from Tristan. Tristan recently asked, what is the difference between the colors pharyngeal and nasal? They kind of sound the same to me. And I get it. And I got to say, Tristan, that is a great question. And it tells me that you have been paying attention and studying in colors of your voice, because you are right. They are very similar. They are siblings in my mind. So how do you create a pharyngeal tone or a nasal tone? How do you add these colors to your canvas? Well, when I speak or when I sing, I inhale on a slight yawn. And what this does is it raises the soft fleshy part of the roof of my mouth, or my soft palate, to this little dome shape. I'm just used to doing it. That's how I was trained. We actually talk about it, or Claude talks about it in the sections on breathing support and placement. And it helps you to have a more resonant buzz when you speak, when you sing. When you want to add the color pharyngeal, instead of yawning, you allow that soft palate to flatten down. And it creates more of a robotic buzz. So let's practice along. Let's actually try that. So if I'm to yawn and talk to you and keep my soft palate raised, it's my normal speaking voice. But if I drop it, all of a sudden, I almost sound like a robot. Now, it's not totally nasal. It kind of sounds nasal, but it's not. It's more robotic and metallic. That is what pharyngeal does. That's the color, the way it can paint your canvas. If you listen to any old R&B pop singers like Lionel Richie, or you listen to Axl Rose singing rock, they both use this color extensively. Just one uses it in their lower range and the other uses it in their higher range. So again, let's try it together. Let's say, my name is Jamie. Now flatten your palate. My name is Jamie. Well, you don't have to say your name is Jamie, but say your name. So try it one more time. My name is. Now flatten the palate. My name is. Here it's almost robotic. That's pharyngeal. So how do we separate pharyngeal from the color nasal? Well, when I go nasal, you can hear it. And you see me squishing up my nose. I'm doing that for dramatic effect. But when you hear that, you know that sound is coming through my nose. There's something different about it than this color. So pharyngeal and nasal, they do share some of the same characteristics. They both flatten the palates. But with nasal, we focus that tone up into the nose. Now, if you're still unsure, how can you tell the difference? How do you know if you're coloring with nasal or pharyngeal? Well, the easiest way is to pinch your nose. So if I'm going, word up, it's the only word, did you hear my voice change? No, it did sound robotic, but it didn't change. Now if I go, word up, it's the only word, what happened? What happened there? My tone became very nasally. That's the secret. If you want to know if you're in the color pharyngeal or the color nasal, if you're using one or the other, all you have to do is pinch your nose shut. So let's try to talk robotic together. Say, I am a robot. Now pinch your nose. I am a robot. You don't hear much of a difference, do you? Now let's think like Janice on Friends. She is very nasal. And we're still going to talk robotic, but we're going to check to see, is that pharyngeal or is that nasal? I am a robot. I am a robot. Much more nasal. So when you pinch your nose, if the nasality bumps way up, you know that you're using the color nasal. If it doesn't really change, then you're just painting with the color pharyngeal. A better way to understand this, honestly, is to hop into the singer's coloring book. You really have to do a lot of selective listening. And I'm not going to sit here and point out Lionel Richie or Axl Rose or this artist or that artist. I want you to hop in and search for the color pharyngeal, search for the color nasal. You have the ability to do it within the program. You can type in that word in the search box and you start paying attention. And once you start comparing these two colors, you're going to hear them all around you. you're going to hear somebody speaking with one of those colors, or both of those colors. You never know. You're going to hear people singing with it, people that you didn't realize were using pharyngeal or nasal. It's going to be there, and tell you, it's a wonderful thing. I love both of these colors. As Claude and I joke, I never really cared for nasal, or I said I didn't, but I really did. So there you go. Use this little checker to know whether you're nasal or just pharyngeal. That's the secret to knowing. And of course, hopping in and studying each color, doing the 7-day challenge, doing your selective listening in the Singer's Coloring Book. The more you do it, the better it will become for you. It'll be easier to understand. So, hope this answers your question. And I'm probably going to walk around and answer a few more.